I'm gonna just cool, awesome. So welcome to another COLAB demo day. Super excited to be here today. We have an amazing group of folks who will be presenting. Just a couple of housekeeping rules and for folks who will be presenting today. First things first, please rename yourself to your team name. So if you look at me, you can see that I have my name Shifumi, and in brackets, there's like COLAB in there. I want you all to do the same. So if you're going to be presenting today, put your first name and then in brackets, please put your team name. So that way it's easier for us to find you and spotlight you when it's time for you to present. So please just take a second to do that right now. Beth also posted that in the chat. So if you're presenting today, please change your name to first name, team name. In order to do that, on the right, just press more. If you go to your profile or your handle or your picture, once you click more, you see the prompt rename yourself. And then once you click rename, it pops up and you're able to put your team name, so it's easier for us to find who you are. So we'll be getting started in the presentations in another 5 minutes. Just quickly wanted to do a quick introduction, tell you all why you're here, and sort of like prep you all for what you're all about to see. So my name is Shifumi. I'm one of the co-founders of COLAB. I wanted to introduce myself because I know there are folks in the audience here who are not part of the COLAB community or part of the COLAB cohort. So I'm one of the co-founders along with Helen. Helen is here. And essentially we're an 8-week program where we provide real-world experience for people who are trying to transition or upskill in the tech industry, specifically around product management, product design, and software development. So today we have an amazing demo day where you get to see what our amazing COLAB participants have been able to build over 8 weeks. 8 weeks is an incredibly short amount of time. I always tell people that 8 weeks flies by so quickly and it's very difficult to build something amazing and unique in 8 weeks. But what you're going to see here today is like a group of amazing individuals who have been able to do that and so much more. So I couldn't be more proud of the amazing hard work, dedication, and just the grit that you've all spent the 8 weeks just working hard to be able to build something. So honestly, just like clap. I just want to just take a second to just recognize you all. So you all deserve like a round of applause. Certainly pat yourselves on the back, because it hasn't been easy, as you would see with some of the presentations. So right now, this is how it's going to work. Every team is going to have 5 minutes to present. So when we call on your team, 5 minutes, you have 5 minutes to present to the community. Once it's your time, we'll search for you and we'll spotlight you. So right now, everyone can see me. We're not in gallery mode because I'm the main person talking. If it's your time to speak, we can do something like add somebody else. So now you can see me and Beth, we're all speaking, so everyone can sort of like pay attention to those that are speaking. And then you can also share your screen. You have access to be able to share your screen while you're presenting. Another housekeeping rule regarding being spotlit: we can only spotlight you if your video is on. That is a Zoom feature that has nothing to do with us. We always encourage you that if you can, please turn on your video so that you're present and you're engaged, especially when you're presenting. If you want to present and you want to share your screen, well, you're going to have your video on in order for us to spotlight you, so everyone can see you and everyone can hear you speak. Again, we have 5 minutes of presentation time, 3 minutes of Q&A. We will be strict because we'll be very short on time if we go over. So let's say you're going over the 5-minute mark, you're going to start eating into your Q&A time. So if you eventually eat into all your Q&A time, we'll say, unfortunately, there's not enough time for Q&A, because one of the reasons why we're here is to also get some feedback from the rest of the community, the audience. There are some mentors in there, there's some hiring managers in there. So make sure that you're strict on time and you pace yourselves. So that is pretty much everything to deal with the presentation. I'll be calling on you whenever it's your time. We've already posted the order in the community of those that are going to be presenting. So I would also post it in the chat once more so you all know and you're aware about when you're going to be going. Let me just quickly do that. And while everyone is presenting, feel free to like post in the chat your thoughts, what you think, if you have any particular questions, and then we'll sort of like go back. So Beth and I will be moderating the entire the entire presentation, the entire conversation. So all of that stuff will be there. So feel free to also encourage one another when you're presenting. I know it's been a tough 8 weeks, so having some of that encouragement definitely goes a long way. So for those that are going to be presenting, once we spotlight you, you're also going to get a prompt on the screen for you to be able to unmute yourself. So when you're presenting, feel free to unmute yourself and don't mute yourself until the end of the presentation. If not, we're going to have to do it again. It's just because of the Zoom security settings. So we're just like extra careful whenever we do any public meetings. So before we start the presentation, because we're already at the 10 mark, I wanted to say huge congratulations to everyone in COLAB12. It's amazing to be able to see you all get to this place at the end of your time at COLAB. So now I would like to call on the first team called Sports Pal. So we're going to start spotlighting you and you're going to get ready to present. So Team Sports Pal. And then when all of your members are ready to go, we'll start the time for the 5-minute presentation. So excited to hear your presentation. So just waiting on the remainder of your team. Well, I guess the team fives as well. So if you just search for fives, we might be able to get them in. All right, cool. Awesome. So I think we're ready to go. So the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes. Get ready to present. Super excited to hear about your project.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Andreas. I'm the product manager from Team Phase, and I'm going to be presenting our project, which is Project Sports Spa. So the big problem that we started off was this quote on the bottom right you see here, which was the journey from your bed to the gym is the hardest part of going to the, from your bed to the car is the hardest part of going to the gym to work out. So this is the issue we're trying to tackle, which is the lack of motivation and accountability people have when it comes to exercising and when they are trying to get a healthier lifestyle. So our proposed solution is by having a friend, which is like we're trying to tackle this issue through the social aspect, where we try to encourage users who share the same goal to exercise regularly, to encourage one another and keep each other accountable, as well as give them motivation. So Project Sportspal is a mobile app which aims to connect users looking to exercise with people that share the same goal. So why? Because we're trying to keep each other accountable, give each other motivation, and also cultivate friendships along the way. So we're gonna be demoing our products in a short demo. So this is our main feature of the app, which is the map screen, where one user on the left here, you can see Jack, and on the right is the map screen, which is belonging to Mary. So we're gonna be demoing two accounts side by side, going through the live feature, which is the map where users can find each other or like other users on the map by tapping on their icons and seeing what interests they have, like you see on the left. And then our second feature, which is the chat feature, is gonna be how users connect with each other. And on the left, you see Jack tapping on Mary's profile on the map screen and then tapping connect and chat. So they can directly chat with each other and try to connect and like ideally schedule to exercise together or do sports together. And you see here on the right the live chat which appeared on Mary's account from Jack. So this is just the two core features we decided to go with for our MVP, and we managed to complete it in time. So here you see Jack sending a message to Mary, which pops up in real time. Would you like to go running today? And that's basically what we have for now for the MVP. And yeah, so there's three main pages, which is the map on the bottom left, the chat page on the bottom middle, and the profile page on the bottom right, where users can edit their profile and whatnot. Well, that's basically it for our app presentation. Now we're gonna be sharing our learnings from the Colab experience as a whole. So I will go first. So from the product manager side, I think that communication is key when it comes to working in a team environment and everything. There's no such thing as over communication, as we need to keep each other updated on our progress on a daily basis. I think that's very important, whether you have made progress or you're stuck on something or there's any blockers along the way. It's always important to try to communicate with the team on what you need and how the team can always help you. Next, Flav, you can share.
So as a designer, I guess for me, adding on to what you said, not every design that you create is going to be implementable. So keeping that constant communication with your designers and product managers is very beneficial, just to get a good understanding of, how can we work around this design then to, at the end, implement it. So that's what I learned.
Next, Vasilios.
Yes, it was a great experience for me to be part of a team creating a product the right way, including discussions, user interviews, and dividing the whole project into small tasks. Since my previous experience was doing all the work by myself, the greatest message that I got from this one was, you are not alone. Not in a spiritual manner or having the X-File music theme in the background, rather to be a better listener and stick to the design.
Yeah, and lastly, Samantha.
Yeah, so for me, it was an amazing experience to work remotely with people around the world. Since I would like to start working remotely as well. And also, it was my first time working on a mobile app. And it was a learning curve for me, and I managed to develop something on the chat feature. So that's something I'm proud of. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all for us for today. Thank you for listening, and it's time for the Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's an amazing presentation. Really do appreciate you all sharing your learnings and working with each other throughout this period. So I wanted to open up the chat for the audience to ask any questions. I mean, there's one question from Helen, so we'll get started. But anyone else, if you have any other questions for this team, Sports Power, feel free to put it in the chat and we'll ask them. And if there's not enough time, we'll funnel it into them and to the community. So Helen mentioned, what are the next steps for what you guys have built?
Yeah, so although we won't be continuing the development of this app, we did initially, from our ideation process, come up with more features that we would like to implement if possible, which is something like a calendar feature where users can schedule exercise times together with each other, and more stuff like general notifications and those kinds of things, as well as just the overall improvement to what we have already, like the map feature and the chat feature.
Cool. Ekong also asked, what technology did you use for the project, for the entire full stack? So Vasilios, Samantha, would you like to share?
Yes, we used React Native for the implementation of the mobile application, and for the backend we used Firebase for the authentication and the database.
Anything else to add there, Samantha, or any other challenges because I know you mentioned this is your first time doing mobile, so anything you wanted to share regarding some of the challenges that you might have faced?
Yeah, so basically Firebase is a NoSQL database and I'm used to SQL. So that was also a learning curve for me. So basically we did React Native and Firebase, just like Vasilius has mentioned.
Cool, awesome. So I think we're at time now. So thank you all for presenting. If there are any other questions, feel free to let us know in the chat and we'll get back to them. Otherwise, we'll be moving on to the next team Lend A or Lend R. I'm not quite sure which one, but curious to hear your the presentation. So thank you all for sharing. So Team Blender, are you all ready? Cool, awesome, great. Over to you, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, awesome. I think we're ready. Okay, well, hi everyone. Welcome to our project Lenda. Our mission here is connecting lenders to borrowers and communities by providing a seamless experience. This wouldn't be possible without the entire team. We're the co-lenders team, and I'm Norma Patel, the product manager.
I'm Jenny Lee, the product designer.
I'm Mallory, one of the developers.
I'm Sila, the other developer.
And last but not least, we have Yash, who were the COLAB mentor throughout the program, and he really helped us organize our thoughts and ideas throughout the whole program. So going back to our problem space, this idea actually came from a problem we had ourselves as a group. And through user interviews, we kind of formulated that this was a problem indeed. And so this problem kind of breaks down simply into two areas, the borrowing aspect and the lending aspects. There's individuals who need to borrow a certain item that they might not need long-term. And so they might just need to borrow short-term on a short-term basis. So we found that this need from borrowers where they don't want to buy an expensive item sometimes and just want to borrow from someone. On the flip side, there's a problem where people have items they don't really use on a day-to-day basis and they want to make money from it or just lend it out to people. And so through our app at Lenda, we connect borrowers to lenders, and we found that this was a problem that we found two sides to. And two data points we found through our research was, according to NPR, the average size of the American home has nearly tripled in size over the past 50 years. But even though sizes are increasing, according to the New York Times, 1 out of 10 Americans are still renting offsite storage. So this shows the need for lenders to lend out the items they don't need so that they have space in their home. So this is the problem space we initially found. So that leads to our overall problem statement that guided us through our development. And our problem statement was, how might we make the experience of borrowing and lending necessary tools and equipment convenient for local community members that borrowers and lenders both have a seamless transaction.
So this is Abigail, our user. She's a pretty practical people person. And when she needs to urgently borrow something, the two main needs that she has is to stay responsible, like a table for an event that she's in charge of, or fixing a core need, like borrowing a tool to fix the sink. And the main pain points revolve around needing something very urgently, very fast, wasting a lot of time asking people whether they have this item, and also issues revolving trust.
Hey Beth, could you unmute my teammate Mallory? We're having technical difficulties, sorry.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're gonna do a quick product demo. So here's our homepage, a bunch of items listed already. And we're gonna kind of follow the lender's process real quick. So you can log in, create an account. I'm going to create an account for one of our cats. So once you've created an account, you can then post an item to lend. And there's the item is available now. Then you can go to your account to see the items that you're lending and edit them. If you were logged in as a borrower, you could go click on that item and then click the button to send a message to the lender to arrange the transaction.
Some future features that we would want to implement into our website would be implementing a location and map feature to find lenders and borrowers easily. Also implementing our own in-app chat system, and also creating a category search bar. So.
Just to briefly go over my learnings as a PM. Number one, cross-functional teamwork. We made it really an important point to work with each other and see what each other's progress was. Even if we might not know what the technical aspect of it, is really important to kind of not work in silos. The second was tool discovery. I gained exposure and familiarity with tools I hadn't worked with before. So Trello, Figma, that's something I gained skills with. And then lastly, prioritize in the scope. That's a really important skill, not only for everyone, but especially as a PM, to kind of see what priorities are actually needed, and then work with designers and devs to see what's actually realistic to complete.
So this was my first time navigating a really complex problem where there were multiple user journeys, borrowers and lenders, and also that relied on both digital platforms, digital interactions, and in-person interactions. And so there was just a lot of descoping iterations. And I learned that a big part of my job is not just design, but also to support the developers.
I learned a ton on this project, but I would say the biggest one is just how to simplify things, and because just if you can get it down to the basic, bare bones, simplest things, you're still gonna come across snags. So like if you think you have it simplified, like simplify it again and start there.
I think the main learning that I've gained going through this program was being able to ask for help, because reading documentation and looking at examples only get you so far.
Yeah, with that, we thank everyone for listening to our presentation, and we hope all y'all become users of Lenda. So we had a lot of fun making this.
Awesome job, team. Congrats. I really do appreciate it. I love the presentation. Yeah, I love Canva presentations as well. So great choice there. There's a UX question from Alamide, and she asked, what methods were used for the research?
So we just basically interviewed people. So we extracted a lot of our user insights through that.
Anything else to add there?
I guess we honestly didn't get to a lot of usability testing because it was a really complex, just product to develop. And so we spent a lot of time on that. But ideally in the future, we would like to test it on more users too. And so that would be a next step.
Cool. Yeah. And a follow-up question is, how does this product address the pain points of building trust, especially amongst borrowers and lenders?
Right, I can tackle that. So one of our future features is to have a review system so that they can see the past borrowers, what their experience was with the lenders. That's one aspect, and the second aspect is that social feature where people talk about their experience with lending on a social board. And then we also have already implemented a deposit feature. So if you lend on an expensive item like a camera, you can request a deposit from your borrower so that in case something happens, you'll get money. So we have some features in place to instill trust.
Cool, awesome. It's great to hear that you're thinking about all these like tons of like use cases. So awesome job, team. And it's great to hear that you also continue working on that. So there's a lot of like comments in the chat, so feel free to just like review that. And thank you all for presenting. Really enjoyed listening to it. So now we'll be moving on to the next team. So let's just wait as the next team comes on the stage. So we're going to be hearing Team Parkway's presentation. So we're going to start spotlighting them, and then they're going to get started on their presentation. Do we have everyone? All right, cool, awesome. So is this everyone?
Okay, that's everyone now.
Yeah, that's us. So Brendan, could you share your screen and you can present?
Okay, are you ready, Archie?
Yeah. So hi guys, my name is Archie, and today my team will introduce you to the lifesaver for camper and hiker out there, the Parkway. So before jump right in, please allow me to introduce our team. So my name is Archie, I'm the product manager. Brendan is the product designer. Mallory, Menzie, and Robert are the software developer. And shout out to our mentor Nadia as well. And so camping and hiking requires a lot of preparation, and organizers how to communicate with their friends to figure out like things to bring for the trip, the trails they want to visit. However, this preparation has become a disaster rather than like enjoyment. Nowadays, we want something that is easily to communicate and pack what you need and get informed and even save your money. That's what is about our product. And this is actually just what we thought about to like prepare for a trip, and we need some data to validate our points. So after numerous interviews and surveys, we found out that people typically spend at least 3 hours preparation, and they have to jump around like 2 or 3 websites or apps to get preparation done. And also based on the survey, like we found out 35% people struggle with what to bring, and the other 35% of people find it challenging to coordinate with friends and assign task owner. So those really result to really validate our thoughts and help us to think deeper into what we can do, which brings us to our solution scenarios. So to jump into our user stories, the first one is as a user, I want to list off my essential items so that I won't forget anything and be like, oh shoot, I forgot something. And 2, as a user, I want to gather research from reputable sources so that I don't miss out any of my experiences. And number 3, as a user, I want to coordinate plans and responsibility with my friends so everyone has the visibility of what they need to bring. And now let's welcome Brendan to introduce our demos.
Okay, our app begins with a welcome page giving the users a quick overview of what they can accomplish. The users looking to join an existing trip, you can click here. Otherwise, trip organizers will create a new trip. The inspiration for creating this new trip was based off those like peel off checklists you sometimes find at outdoor stores. We wanted users to quickly create a list requiring only the mandatory details to start. So the organizer can set a trip and a location, such as summer getaway to Algonquin Provincial Park. Veteran campers can start with a blank canvas, whereas beginners can start with a pre-populated packing list with set categories. Then users are presented with a popular list. Let's say Juno here is the organizer and she wants to bring bunny slippers. So she can add her item and then notify everyone that she's packing them. Laredo here likes the idea, but doesn't have any. He's hoping someone can bring some along. So he tells everyone he needs them. And then we have Elsie here, who is a purist and doesn't think the extra volume of the slippers is worth the luxury. So she tells everyone she's not bringing them. And let's say she convinces everyone else that we don't need bunny slippers. She can easily delete it. And if they want to delete more than one item, there's the option for that as well. And then for new categories, a familiar menu is presented where you can select multiple categories to add, which is then added to the bottom of the list. And to invite friends, we have a simple share button where the organizer just needs email their friend. And then once confirmed, they're added to the end of the columns.
Yep. Thanks, Brandon. So let's welcome Mallory to talk about our tech stack and how we implement this.
Yeah, so we built this with a MERN stack, so a MongoDB database, Express, Node.js, and React for the front end. And then when we get to a place where we can deploy, we'll use the just free tier Heroku to deploy for the first time.
Awesome. So jumping back into the learning experiences, for me as a PM, I really learned how to communicate and coordinate with a group of people with various expertise. And I find out like effective team communication is really important, especially as a PM, you have to speak their language and also try to prioritize team tasks based on the urgency and importance. And Brendan?
Yeah, so the learnings I had was first that just to get my ideas down on paper, and then I can always build up from there. And PM and Devs Rock, Archie kept me motivated and accountable, while Mallory kept me grounded in our pursuit of a MVP. And communication is paramount. Many of my design decisions were adapted after input from my teammates.
My learnings for this project were kind of the same as the other one. Things that I thought would be easy to apply were really not. So I hit a bunch of blocks. It came in on this project a little late to help out. So I don't know. I feel like I thought I had the same amount of time, I guess, and I didn't. And so I just kept like not getting to where I wanted it to be. So yes, simple is the key for the MVP. That rhymes, so you can use it for next time.
Yeah, and that's about it. And thanks so much for listening. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome job. Thank you so much for sharing. I know there are definitely some challenges on this team, but you all pulled it together and I'm incredibly proud of your efforts. And thanks so much, Mallory, for also coming in and helping and supporting this team. So absolutely wanted to like shout out you all. Great job. And also great note on simplicity. It's very important to be simple. So I wanted to open it up for Q&A. If you have any questions for this team, definitely please put it in the chat. I know we have just a little bit of time, like 1 minute for Q&A, so I think we have time for one question. So does anyone have any question? Otherwise, happy to ask one quickly. One thing that I had at the back of my mind was, what are the next steps? Like, are you all going to continue working on this, or are you going to just take the learnings from this and just like move on? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so because we only have Mallory to join our team like at week 6 to actually have our developer back us up. So originally we also have 2 more user stories where we want to share about like to monitor experience and split with friends so that it's easier to monitor like experience. And also the other part is maybe like schedule for activities and make reservation for different campsite, or even we can allocate like geo or weather APIs into our app to like give recommendations about what kind of clothes should we wear during a specific date. And those are something like we try to work on like even after the cohort. And we think this product has like lots of potential and we want to make it happen.
Awesome, great to hear that, and it's nice to see that you've thought about, what future iterations would be when you've like learned from some of the things that you've shipped. So awesome job, thank you, team. And now we'll be moving on to the next team, Team Gaha or Gaja. I am not sure correct presentation, but I know I will be corrected. So let's just give a moment for folks to get ready, and then we'll go from there. Can you all unmute yourselves?
Yes, yeah, I was just able to. You ready? Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor, the product manager of Kaja. And this is the Kaja team. We have Yvonne, our designer, Sophie and Jose, our developers, and we would also like to shout out our mentor, Deb, who helped us throughout this process. And this is Sarah. Sarah enjoys listening to music, watching YouTube videos, and catching the latest Korean shows on platforms like Netflix. One day, Sarah would love to travel to Korea and have the confidence to speak there. Unfortunately, she's tried many of the options out there, but they either take up too much time or they're practicing vocabulary that won't be relevant for her trip. And this is the problem. Currently, there are 1.2 billion people learning a new language. And as we know, learning a new language is tough, especially with a busy schedule. After interviewing language learners, we found that many don't have the time it takes with the current options out there to become more fluent. They want to improve their listening and pronunciation skills, but the current options out there like books and apps don't always provide the immersive environment to facilitate learning. So we invented Kaja. Kaja, or Let's Go in Korean, is a Chrome extension that helps users like Sarah learn the Korean language while watching Korean dramas, movies, and videos. The learning experience is immersive, motivating, and fits your schedule because you're learning with the videos you already want to watch. Before our developers show you Kaja, you may ask yourself, why Korean? We're going to start with the Korean language because Korean was the second fastest growing language in the world in 2020. And then there's been a massive demand for Korean content. With this demand and availability, we'll be able to support the many users wanting to learn the Korean language with our product. So now I'll pass it to our developers, Sophie and Jose, who will show you our demo of how Kaja currently works. Sophie, are you muted? Apparently. Yeah, okay. Can we unmute Sophie?
We have. Can you unmute?
Okay,
yes,
there we go.
I got it. Sorry, I didn't know that once muted, you'd stay muted all the time. Sorry about that. Thank you, Taylor, for the introduction. I'd like to take a moment to talk a bit about our product and how we approached it. So our goal is to do dual subtitles, and we relied on the built-in feature within Chrome to do the translation. And this helped us to mitigate past any limitations and restrictions of working with the translation API. And Jose, my partner developer, will now walk us through what our Chrome extension looks like.
Hello, everyone. As Taylor will pull out our demonstration, here we have a video where we enable our subtitles, and then we will get a second subtitle screen, and you will see that now we have dual subtitles working. and they get translated. And just like that, everyone, you can learn and watch as you go. And I'll pass it on to our designer.
Thank you, Jose. So let me share my screen now. Okay, so assuming that this is you already download Project extension to your Chrome and you go to Netflix, this is going to be like some future features that we're going to build. So for the languages, like besides like Korean, we'll implement like Chinese, French, Japanese, and Spanish. That's the result that we did, the research from our usability testing. And yeah, so far we'll just choose Korean and remember to turn it on, and dictionary also Korean. And if you didn't choose the subtitle size, it would be a default in medium. So as just like Jose showed to you guys, so the dual subtitle will show up here. And when you hover to one of the words, the video will stop and you can click that word and the definition will show just like a dictionary. And you can actually save the words that you are trying to learn to your journal. And I'm going to show you how the journal looks like. So you can go to the extensions and click search. And you will show like a dashboard, all the videos that you been watching or finished watched. And you click one of the drama, it will show you like all the vocabularies you hovered before and how many times you learned. And you click one of the words, it will show the definitions of the word. And here is the flashcard features. It's also actually from our usability testing, the features that the user wants. So this would reflect the words that you learned before. And this will be like the entire thing will be like upgrade to a pay member. So if you like this feature, give thumbs up in the chat, and we know that you want to become a member as well. Yeah, so that's our future demo. I'll pass on to Taylor, and we'll talk about what's our team learning in this amazing journey.
Okay. Thanks, Yvonne. So yeah, we learned a lot during this collab journey. Some of the things that I learned is that the user knows best. In working with the teams, I learned the power of a one-on-one meeting. And there are so many products out there with a lot of cool features, but it's really important to be intentional with the tools that you use with your team.
So as a designer, I learned that not only like a designer, but also from like this engineer's perspective. And the two-way communication definitely very important, not just like communicate one way, but understanding if the other side, understand what you're trying to say. And the last but not the least is iteration definitely helps for the entire process.
As a developer, it reaffirmed how fun pair programming can be, and that I should really know my audience, especially when communicating and expressing limitations and how to create a viable product. And lastly, to just don't be afraid to break things, especially when learning something new.
I think Jose's muted.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, well, okay. What I learned with my team is always ask for help. The teammates are most likely have the answers that you're looking for. Research is important. Being able to understand what you're trying to do is a very important thing. And following steps will always keep you on track, and staying organized will help you finish your task as fast as possible.
And as a team, we learned the importance of clear communication, especially while working in a remote team across different time zones. Thank you. And now we'll open up the floor for some questions.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Great presentation. Love how clean and visual that it looks. So thank you so much for sharing that. We're very tight on time. I think we'll have time for one question. I think Helen asked a question in there, and then we'll move on to the next team. I think she asked, does it currently work for other languages or is it just Korean?
Sophie and Jose, you want to talk about how it works?
I think that currently it actually still works for other languages, if I'm not mistaken. But we don't know how well that would do.
Yeah,
it should work for others. Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah.
Especially because we're relying on the Chrome translation feature that's built in rather than using a translation API. But we focused on Korean because that was our initial intention.
Cool. That's exciting. Well, thank you all for the presentation. It's great to hear and see the amazing progress that you've all worked on. If there are any additional questions, feel free to respond in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be moving on to the next team, which is Team Breakful. Can you all unmute yourself?
Yep. Hello, hello. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna get started and share my screen. Can you guys see the screen?
Yep.
Oh, shoot, not sharing. Okay, awesome. So welcome everyone to Project Breakful. I'm Kathy, the product manager.
I'm Sunny, I'm the designer.
I'm Ernesto, one of the developers.
And I'm the other developer.
So COVID-19 has changed the way employees and students work, and working from home seems to be the new norm. And even though there are tons of benefits, there are a few downsides like lack of community and burnout. This is because working in an office creates a separation between your personal life and your work life, and there's usually set break times. But at home, the lines between your work and personal life get blurred. And this often results in people not taking enough breaks, or if they do, they're not very restful, which can result in burnout or decreased productivity and declines in your mental and physical health. So our problem statement is, how can we simplify or automate the process of taking breaks for people who work at home so that they're able to take more restful breaks and are inclined to continue taking breaks in the future? So this is Cam, our user persona. Cam works at home, but most of the time, he's always very tired and can't seem to separate his work life from his personal life. And one of the factors that's influencing this is that Cam does not take very restful breaks because during his breaks, he's always thinking about work that has to be finished and his upcoming meetings. So our solution to that is Product Breakful, which is a website that helps making taking breaks restful again. So we have 3 core features that we implemented into our solution, and I'll be going over that in our product video. So the first feature is that users will be able to connect to the Breakful with their Google Calendar. And from this, users are able to schedule breaks directly into their calendar, and it will appear on their calendar on Google. They're also able to choose what they want to do during the break, how long they want their break to be, and also they'll have notifications that'll tell them what time their breaks are and when their breaks are coming up. In addition to that, sorry, I have to go to the next slide. So in addition to that, we will also be providing users with content to watch during the break. So for example, if they chose that they want to stretch during the break, we will be also providing them stretching content to watch. So here are our team learnings.
So my first learning will be to working in Agile. We need to always stay on track and as well as being flexible all the time. And the second one will be the experience of working with program managers and developers. And we need to think about the usability and feasibility at the same time. And the third one is to always focus on the main goal, which is based on the research, not intuition.
So my 3 learnings as a product manager at COLAB is to first be flexible and to just accept that sometimes things don't go as planned. But the most important thing is learning how to pivot and adapt to your circumstances. The second learning is to be empathetic towards your team, and that's understanding your team's communication styles and their motivations to work more cohesively as a team. And my third learning is to just be open, and that's listening to all your team members openly and being open to learning new things.
My first collab learning was the communication is really the key. There's no such thing as dumb questions, so be empathetic and open to learn new things. The second one is collaborating with a product manager in a design gave me the opportunity to learn how to develop a product, a reliable product based purely on user research and teamwork. It was amazing. And the third one is adaptability. Adaptability is paramount because time does fly and changes happen all the time. So stay on track, stay flexible, and keep focusing on the main goal.
So for my first learning, I learned it's okay to err. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I learned from them, I adapt, and then improve from those mistakes. My second learn was I learned how to communicate technical terms effectively. One of the things that is important is to be able to abstract certain technical concepts so that anyone in the team that is not familiar with technical concepts can understand them, and that we can provide a better solution for certain issues. And lastly, never give up. There were a couple of features I wanted to give up on, but I didn't, and I end up making it up in the end. So yeah, never give up.
Yep, and that's everything from us. Thank you guys for listening.
Awesome, great job, great presentation. Really enjoyed listening to all of it. So we only have like a little bit of time for questions, so I'll just go ahead and ask the question that I have. What are the next steps? Would you continue working with each other? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You guys
go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna work to publish the app because Google APIs is kind of messy and there's a lot of outdated information. So we need to publish, and Google requires a lot to us to be able to do that. And we're gonna implement the videos as Katie showed on the demo. So yeah, we're gonna keep working on the project. And we set it like for next week, right? Ernesto,
Yeah,
to keep going.
next week we're gonna work on the privacy policy, making the video, and I think writing a paper explaining how the app works for Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, that's exciting. Yeah, looking forward to that, and it's great to see that there's going to be more progress that that will be made on this project moving forward. So thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so if there's anything else in the chat, feel free to like respond to that. Otherwise, thank you all for presenting. Great job, congratulations. I will be moving on to the next team nearby. Just another note: if you do want us to spotlight you, your cameras need to be on to just make things easier. So please turn on your video if you're going to be presenting. Otherwise, there's also 4 more presentations before the end of the day. So yeah, let's get to it. Super excited to hear the remaining conversations. Right, the floor is yours. All right, unmute. All right, can everyone unmute? So please just unmute.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm here to introduce you Nearby, a mobile-focused platform that is redefining travel by finding local, relaxing places for travelers. Okay, what's happening? So I'm Jensine Mattis, the product manager, and today I'm joined by our 2 developers, Nicola and Lenny, and our product designer, Jenny. So before and after the COVID-19 pandemic, people were really trying to find places that really help them learn about new cultures, connect with others, and achieve mental wellness. Nature Neuroscience revealed that traveling abroad is not the only excursion that can promote these positive emotions and feelings. And a recent study showed that 80% of people feel travel improves their general mood, and 75% of people in that recent study say that travel helps them reduce stress. So that was an insight that really helped us dive into our user research. And we found that 100% of our respondents share they travel for mental wellness reasons. And this brought us to our problem statement. How might we help travelers discover nearby places that foster happiness and mental wellness so they can be their best selves and support the people they care about? Nearby's mission is to inspire travelers to improve mental well-being through connection and culture. And now I'll pass it over to our product designer, Jenny, to really dive into our customer.
Yeah, so let's meet Kevin. Kevin is a software engineer in his late 30s, married with 2 kids, so he has a family. He likes to relax, learn about cultures, and visit places nearby with his family that aren't too crowded. So Kevin has a lot of needs, but the ones that we are focusing on is his need to explore nearby places that aren't too busy, which is founded on this desire for like more low-key experiences and a better mental well-being. So here's an overview of our flow. You start on a general map page where you can search and filter results. And then after that, we were inspired by our users' affinity towards mental well-being. And so we decided to twist a general rating system and have them rate it by how relaxing it made them feel.
One of the core features of our application is to show you the 10 most popular nearby places based on your current location. All those places also will be shown on the map and listed below the map.
And for the ratings of a place, we have rated from a neutral place to a relaxing place. And the user is able to rate a place for others to know how the place is relaxing or whether other people feel neutral about the place.
When you land on the page, you will be presented with the 10 nearby places based on your current location. You can always narrow the search by clicking on one of the 4 options below. Also, at any time, you can type in into the search field any place in the world, and you will get back nearby places related to that location. And also, I would like to mention that application is still under construction, and we are currently working on the emotional ratings feature.
So just to share some of my learnings as a product manager, one is really communication and really being able to build an asynchronous process that enables team accountability and support, and learning how to reduce a product scope due to time and resource constraints, and the importance of rallying the team around a product vision.
I learned a lot of things during this program, but maybe the most important one is how to overcome difficulties related to time zones, communication by using different techniques. One of them is asynchronous communication.
And as for me, within these last 8 weeks, I've learned like a lot of things, but most importantly, I learned how to work well with other teammates from different time zones, as my colleague said, because we are from very different places and different time zones. And also I learned how to harmonize product design with product development to make the final product look like how it was designed, and also learn how to work with the location APIs.
So traveling is a really personal process. And so our users had a lot of different needs. And I think that just changing the angle or perspective to kind of focus on mental well-being really helped us stand out from competing products. And even though this was a really short flow, I learned that even in just like the interaction details, there's a lot of things to consider, and communication is really key. So then we can cover all the different like edge cases.
Thank you so much for listening to our nearby pitch, and we would love to hear your feedback.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Awesome. And yeah, it seems yeah, Lenny, we might have had some audio challenges with Lenny. So sorry about that we weren't able to hear some of your learnings, but thanks for sharing. Awesome job, team. I know there's definitely some challenges across the board regarding time zones. It's nice to see that, you know, at the end of it, you all pulled through. So awesome job and congrats. There's one quick question. In there, and then we'll take it from there. And I have a very similar question, which is how is relaxing defined by profiles? So I'm curious about that.
Can you repeat the question, please?
It's in the chat. It says, how is relaxing defined by profile? You know how you have the rating from like neutral to relaxing. So how is that sort of like defined?
Oh, so, no, you can go.
Okay, no, maybe Jensine can like jump in, but definitely relaxing like is very subjective, and even across like the people that we interviewed, it was also very subjective. Like some people might find the spa or like the park really relaxing, but some people might find like museums more relaxing, or like maybe some people do retail therapy and they love shopping. So it was definitely very, very just subjective. Someone like really liked food, so they like were all about that, like restaurants and stuff. And so like that is something that probably we should consider in the future, but for now is a very general definition.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, and thanks for walking us through your thought process there. So really do appreciate that. And again, awesome job on the presentation and on the product. So now we'll be moving on to the next team. So over to Team Fairtask. So thank you all for presenting. So now Team Fairtask is next. And we'll take it from there. Just a reminder, if you want to be spotlit, your video needs to be on. Okay. Can everyone speak?
Hi, everybody.
Awesome.
Hello.
All right, you can begin. Yeah.
Just
Hi everyone, this is Team Fairtask, an app that brings a spark of joy to finishing tasks at home for couples. I'm Zainab, the product manager.
I'm Mariam, the product designer.
I'm Roy. I worked on the development for the project.
For our product research, we found that the majority of respondents agreed that task management is an issue in the relationship, and all respondents had experienced dissatisfaction in task division at some point of their base. And our problem space was how might we make managing tasks easier for couples so they can experience more fairness and satisfaction.
Next slide, please. So the solution that we came up with is to utilize positive reinforcement and encourage couples to reward each other for the hard work that they do.
So let me just demo the project really quickly. So the app currently is a web app. You'll create an account, and then from there, you'll be able to add users to your household by email address. And then you'll have a task section where you can create and add a new task. So just add one real quick. You're going to assign it to the users or to the whole household. You'll give it a value and select a due date. and you'll see it'll pop up. And then when the task is complete, the points will be added to the user's profile so that they'll be able to claim them later. And you can sort tasks by the user to see who each task is assigned to. For rewards, you can create a new reward. So just give it a title, a point value, and a category. And then in here, once you have points, you can use those points to redeem one of the tasks. And once you redeem a task, it will show up in your profile as something that you've redeemed, and it'll deduct the points from your application.
Yeah, thanks, Roy. So in the user research, there was the user interviews and research, there was a lot of interesting things. Like, for example, couples having different standards about how tasks should be done. Having a different, so one person wanting to quality control the other person's, or sometimes having different viewpoints about what needs to be done. Like one person thinking that they should clean out the house. They've read that book about, getting rid of your junk, or one person thinking that the garden should be maintained better. So there's a lot of opportunities that are more deep than like just assigning tasks and getting rewards to help couples. But this was kind of a lot for a short period of time, especially for Roy, who did it all in just like a week. Yeah, so it was really interesting learning from all the couples.
So as a product manager, what I learned the most was prioritization is very important process and to maximize over time and decide on MVP features in such a short time. And I learned to lead with compassion. I learned to be flexible and ready to shift gears at any time and pivot in any way we can. And we lost 2 developers, and I was able to find Roy. Thankfully, he was able to agree and help us build this, and we were able to develop our product to MVP at least.
I learned that the communication between developers and designers is really critical. So for example, a lot of times that it was important for me to make sure that I had not just designed images, but that it was clear to the developers all the different scenarios that could come up in the actual user flow or different use cases. And also from the other end, just that communication constantly was really important. If the developer had to make any decision to like loop me in so that we make sure we're on the right track about that. So I found that the more communication and the more frequent, the better between dev and designer.
So in terms of what I learned, as it was alluded to, I kind of jumped into this project near the end, so I haven't spent much time here. So in terms of the tech, I didn't really want to use something I hadn't been exposed to. This is the first serious project I used the T3 stack for, which is Next, Prisma, TRPC, and Tailwind. I had used it for some smaller stuff, but like playing around with it, but this is the first like actual application I built with it. But I definitely had a chance to experience and learn working under an extremely short and aggressive time frame and getting things produced quickly and getting something working on a very, very quick turnaround time.
Thank you. If you have any questions or feedback, we would love to have it right now.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much, and great presentation. I know, again, it's amazing to see when some teams experience some challenges and then they overcome that using the community or just finding ways to just overcome any of the challenges. So awesome job. I know it hasn't been easy. So thank you all for pushing through and being here today. Max has a question. Who assigns the task on the web app, the husband or the wife? Or the kids?
So yeah, I mean, we didn't design this for kids, but there is technically, it would be possible, I guess, to add other people. We designed this for couples. So either person in the couple can assign tasks. And actually something else interesting we thought of is to also give people points for adding tasks so that that's also rewarded.
Cool, awesome. And Helen would also like to assign all her tasks to other people. So that was great to see.
She's going to be giving away a lot of rewards.
But do you actually, another follow-up question, do you get points for assigning or adding tasks, or do you only get points for completing tasks?
No, but that is something that came up in the research, and I think it's a great idea. It's because obviously adding tasks is a job and you should be rewarded for it. So that's a great idea.
So Helen knows where she'll be getting majority of our points from.
Oh, she solved the problem.
Thank you
Cool.
all for your presentation. I will be moving on. So if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to post it in the chat and you can respond in there. Otherwise, we'll be moving on to the next team Socialite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you should be good to go, and then you should be able to share your screen.
Okay, sounds good. I'll share my screen. Okay, hope everyone can see it. Hi everyone, we're Socialite. We created a web app called Socialite, which allows you to easily plan and share events with friends. And so our product manager wasn't able to make it, but here's our team. We still have Sujudi and Daniel here, who are software developers, and I'm Kim, I was the product designer. So we pretty much created this app because we took some of our own experiences and like the experiences of our users to sort of realize that, you know, planning and organizing events with friends can be difficult, you know, especially if it's with like a larger group, or we said like more than 5 people. You know, if you're planning just a hangout with friends, or even just like a day trip, messages can get buried, spreadsheets can get buried, and just communication is often like disjointed and messy. So that made our core pain points, which was event planning. So it's difficult for event organizers to sort of communicate details of an event and track who can come to an event, and also the event details for the attendees to learn about the events and sort of learn about any updates, or even just, yeah, like the small details of when, where, and the time. And so our solution was to create just a web-based interface where users can come on and create an event. So they can just assign all of the titles, the date, time, location, and the details. And what makes this one interesting is each event that an organizer creates gets a shareable link that they can then share with like people that they want to see who can come to an event. And those attendees can then use the link to view all the details of the event, but they're also able to RSVP. So we added that along with a couple others that Daniel will show us now. So I'll leave it to Daniel to show you guys the demo.
Thanks, Kim. Let's share my screen here. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
So I'll just do a simple walkthrough here. So this is our front end, which Sujudi was a big help in working with the front end. And then I also helped with the back end, and together we created Socialite. So you can start on the home page here and then create an event. This will take you to the event page. So I'll just do an example here. I'm a big Raptors fan, as you can see. So we'll do Raptors game night. And then you select the date, let's say maybe tomorrow. Then you would put in the time, 8 p.m. And then the length as well, 5 hours. This is a form validation as well. So in this, for time, I won't do it, but if you don't put things that have their asterisk here, it will kind of warn you to submit it. So then you would put Scotiabank Arena, which will filter the results here. And then you can put event details, go Raptors. And then you can also upload a header image, which is a neat feature. I'll just grab one of the test images we have here, Scarborough Zone. And then the organizer email. So you would put the email that the event organizer would receive. And that would trigger the server to then send an email to the user with the event. And so this is the event that's created. We have the title, the details here, as well as the map of the event. Users that can then RSVP. So Kim's coming, so Judy's coming. So this will keep getting populated with how many people are coming. And as I mentioned, the email comes in, so you can see here, congratulations, your event link has been created, and you can click on the link, and that will take you to the event. The main reason why we wanted to implement this feature is because, you know, you'll be on your phone creating the event and you can copy and paste the link, but then as you know, you copy and paste something else, you lose that. So we wanted to create a feature where that link was always accessible to the user. Our tech stack included React front end, as well as Firebase for the database, and then Node.js and Express for the server backend. The challenges for me particularly were the implementation of the server. I'm a front-end developer by nature, so learning the backend capabilities was a great learning experience for me. And that's what powered the emails to come through to the user. In terms of what we would add, there was a lot of discussion for our stretch goals for implementing like a calendar feature. So when the event was created, sending that invite to the person so they can add it to their calendar, just things like that to make it more fleshed out. And yeah, I guess, so Judy, if you wanted to add anything in terms of your learning experiences, obviously this was your first time using React, so.
Yeah, so for me, it was a great experience learning React and the front-end designing, because before I was not a fan of front-end design, so that was a new experience for me. Yeah, and I also learned how to communicate with all the team members in different time zones and maintain that communication over, all over the week. So that was a great thing to learn.
I think as a team, definitely we definitely learned like communication with each other, open communication with each other, and definitely like what's been said before, like simplifying and MVP so we can get it to like something that's definitely usable.
Yeah, just in closing too, a big feature we wanted to implement was to make it responsive, so it's usable on mobile, tablet, as well as desktop. So yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome, great job. And also last, I love how you just finally showed the responsiveness. I think responsiveness is like a huge thing that people will definitely underestimate how challenging that can be sometimes. So awesome job, team. Really do appreciate the presentation. So Helen had a question and she mentioned, is this something that folks can use as it is? Like, is this production ready?
Yeah, so it's production ready. It's hosted on Netlify, and then the backend is hosted on Heroku. So you can access. I can provide the link in the chat. A couple of my friends actually use it to plan some events, which is pretty cool. But the one thing that is kind of annoying is like it doesn't go to your calendar. So if anything, I would want to maybe implement that feature and then have it like finalized, just because it's nice to have the link, but then to not have it in your calendar, you can like lose track of it. So. That's kind of probably the final feature that we would implement. But yeah, I can post a link if anyone wants to create some events.
Cool. Also, yes, definitely please post it, and then also post it in the community. We would love to like play around with it. So thank you all for presenting. We appreciate it. And if anyone else has any other questions for this team, feel free to post it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be moving on to the next team. 2 more presentations left. I mean, they've all been amazing and awesome. So team multitask. And then the final team will be Team Cope. But yeah, super excited for the final 2 presentations, and I can't wait to see the amazing products that we're gonna showcase. Can you all unmute yourselves now? Just double check.
There we go.
Awesome.
I can. Well, it looks like they're still trying to unmute.
Jordan, Ernest, can you?
Okay, looks like Ernest is the
There we
only
go.
one. Okay, there we go. There we go. Thank you
for
so
some
much.
reason it didn't let me. It just kept preventing me, I guess.
Right.
Well, hi everybody. My name is Michael Ohanishin. I'm here with Jordan, Eric, and Ernest, and together we created an application called Multitask. And so I'm in a lot of meetings. I probably have today 4 or 5 meetings, including this one, and we use Zoom. We use Zoom all the time, and recently I was in a meeting, and it was a big meeting like this, where I might have got called on, but most likely not. So I have a lot of stuff to do along with the meeting, right? And so my screen looks probably something like this when I'm meeting. Does everybody see that? I know it's kind of wide view, but I might be on Amazon. I might be, doing some of my getting ready for our presentation. I could be looking at emails. I could be doing a bunch of different things. But then what happens all of a sudden, and it literally happened to me, is I hear this, "Hey, Michael, does that sound right? Is that?" And I didn't expect it, because it was a huge meeting like this, and small chance. And now I'm scrambling because I have 3 screens up. I was shopping for something, and so I didn't know what to do. And so like I had to go find my Zoom application. I had to go unmute, and for me, it felt like it took forever. And my boss was like, "Oh, I think you're muted still." But I was just really trying to frantically find the unmute button, and I found it. So yeah, it took 5 seconds, but now I'm pretty sure my boss knew that I wasn't paying attention in the meeting. So that being said, to solve a problem similar to that, we created an application called Multitask, and this application is a downloadable Mac OS application that allows Zoom meeting participants to quickly perform Zoom tasks, no matter what application they're in. So you can see I don't have Zoom open on any of my screens. It's in the background. But if I go over here to the side, it might be kind of hard to see because of my screens. I have these things open here, and it's not working how I thought it was going to be. Let's see. But it does allow, and it was working a second ago. It does allow me to turn my camera off and turn it back on. And I don't know what's going on with me.
Oh, I think it's because like earlier I was having this problem too, but it's just this Zoom meeting in specific. I think
yeah.
they don't allow you to
unmute
and mute yourself for some reason.
Yeah, it works in all the I promise. It works. I've been using it for the last 3 or 4 days, and it works really good. It's been working really, really well. But anyways, so this is our application. It's just a side feature, or it's just a thing that just comes out. And so yeah, that's our application. And we all learned a lot, especially about like just we all pitched in a lot as far as design and making sure that looking up different things as far as like how can we do this in our tech stack. And so I learned a lot about how others think, and as far as like developers think like this, or designers think like this. And so that was one of the things I think we all learned together. So that is our application, and it's live. It's good. We have a site. It's multitask.today. I think it's live. It's up. We have a little bit. If you want to download it, you can. It's only for Mac right now. We also have apps set up because it's not a certified app yet. So there's a little bit of stuff you have to do, but if you follow the instructions back there, it should get going. So would love to hear your feedback.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing and great presentation. I would have loved to hear a little bit about your learnings. So could you just all quickly just go around, just say your learnings very quickly, and then we'll move on to the final presentation. Otherwise, there's a lot of chatter in the chat, so feel free to respond to that. So I would just like to move on to hearing your learnings and how you felt over these 8 weeks.
Jordan, go ahead.
All right, so I was the backend developer for this. And in terms of my learnings, yeah, just being able to work with people who weren't just developers was a big learning point for me. Working with Michael and working with Eric has been a huge experience. And also just working on a full Mac OS application, which I've never done before or never worked on before, was a totally new experience. So doing a lot of research was very helpful for that.
Alrighty. And for me, I was the front end developer for this project. For me, along with the sort of like the real world like application and like tech building environment, also just like kind of using and learning new tech kind of on the go, because I've never really fully built a desktop application before, like an application. So just kind of like problem solving with new technology, trying to figure out how everything works. I think that was a really, really big learning experience for me.
As for me, okay, good. It is on. As for me, I was Eric. I was the product designer for this. There was a lot of things that I kind of had to go throughout this. First off, if you're the product designer and you have developers and a product manager, product designer isn't like the sole owner of how the product is actually designed. You actually have the entire team and everyone else within the team who helps to determine the design direction of the final product. And one of the other lessons that I had an inkling on beforehand, but this entire collab session more or less proved it, was that the users that you research sometimes will give you answers you don't initially expect, and then you have to figure out how to incorporate accessibility and other accommodations to make sure that you can reach out to the people that you want your product to reach out to. Like, for example, on the multitask bar we had, and on the current version, the bar that was showing on your screen when it was minimized, it was actually about half that size originally. And then after further research, it went up to double that size. And then the icons themselves were also a little smaller, but then we thought about older people with not as great vision who might have a harder time, so the icons were increased in size to accommodate that crowd. So a lot of different stuff, that's for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know we're very short on time, so we don't have any questions. I saw Greg give a thumbs up. He's like the accessibility expert, so feel free to reach out to him. He's one of our previous collaborators from our earlier cohorts. But great job, team. And now we'll be moving on to the final team, Team Cope. Thank you all, multitask, and super excited to hear the final presentation from Team Cope. Can you all unmute yourselves? Just checking in.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Is that everyone?
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. Hey everyone, we are the people behind Cope, and we're just so excited to share with you what we've been working on for the past 8 weeks. I'm Brunel, I'm the product manager. I'm joined by Jashir, the product designer, and Vicky, our developer. And Rob has also been part of our team, but he couldn't make it today. So anxiety is actually the #1 mental health issue in the United States, followed by depression, and it disproportionately affects young people. In fact, there was a survey done by Deloitte where they determined that about 50% of Gen Zs and 40% of millennials experience anxiety either most or all of the time. And we actually ran our own survey as well, where about 60 out of 100 people who responded also experience anxiety to that level of frequency. So our team thought, how might we make overcoming anxiety easier for young adults so that it minimizes the disruption it causes? And after interviewing 7 individuals, we encountered 3 key problems here. First, they experience spikes of anxiety because they get negative thoughts coming to their minds. And then secondly, during those moments, they want to talk to someone, but they can't because sometimes they don't have anyone available, or they don't want to burden their loved ones about their issues. And then and also therapy can become expensive as well. And then finally, some of them express struggling to build a habit of mindfulness so that they can actually keep the anxiety at a low level. So for our actual solution, we decided to focus on the first two problems, and we came up with Cope, which is a mobile app that helps users reduce their anxiety levels by acting as their own therapist. And then let me just highlight our key features here. Essentially, the app guides users through a coping session. The user goes through a series of questions, followed by curated affirmation statements and a meditation. And it's all guided by a real human voice. And then for each question, the users will hear an audio from that human guide, and then they can respond using audio recording. And it's just like a real conversation in that way. I'm gonna pass it off to Jashira.
So who is our target users? Meet our persona, Angela from New York City, who interns for a tech company. Her constant worrying about her expenses gives her anxiety. She needs to develop a habit, check-ins, and mindfulness to become aware of her negative thoughts. Her goals is to cope with her anxiety without having to pay out-of-pocket expenses. Now I'll pass it on to Victoria, our front-end developer, to showcase the product demo.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. Welcome to Cope. So this is the home screen. We start with an onboarding audio. I'm just going to play it very briefly. Once you hear that, you're ready to start your session. You select how you're feeling. And then what are you stressed about? And then for each question, we have audio as well. I'm going to play the first one.
Tell me more.
And now it would be the time that you would record your response. And then we have other 3 questions that follow. I'm just going to skip it for the sake of time. At the end, we give you affirmations based on the stressors. So whatever you're stressed about, we have affirmations that are given to you. And we also have another audio. And as not the very last step, but one of them is the meditation. We have a guided meditation. So once you're done with that, we are reassessing how you're feeling, just to make sure, we want you to feel better after every session. And once that's done, these are the entries right here. I'm just going to show it to you, like the details. And you can play them as well.
Awesome. All right, on to Jashira.
So most, if not all, our testers provided us some great feedback, and it helped us to gain a better understanding that we are in fact building an app that's much needed, especially during this time. Next, we'll talk about our learning, starting with Renell, Cope's product manager.
All right, so as a PM, first I learned how important it is to give clarity to my team. So if we have clear problem statements, we'll have very clear solutions. I also learned how to form a great partnership with a shared product designer and just have that trust to design a great product. And then I learned to just be comfortable with building iteratively. This is the first time where we started development without having the designs all done. So it was very, very uncomfortable for me, but yeah.
So for me, it's constant communication, which is key to success. And any questions or feedback, it must be listened to in order to create a valuable product. Testing and early often. Testing helped me to pinpoint the problem areas quickly and efficiently. And also, lastly, taking in feedback. It's a collaborative effort and we all have a say in our final product.
For me, working across functional team was like a first time for me, and I appreciated that very much. Having the expertise of another developer, Jashira and Brunel, really made a difference. Being in an agile environment as well was a first for me, and learning how the real world really works. And the product development process from research, which the PM and the designer were really kind and let me be part of it. So that was really exciting because it gave me a better idea of how the whole product development really works. And Rob couldn't be here, but he learned a lot about cross-functional teams, React Native, which none of us had previous experience before, and how the product cycle really works. And that's scope. Thank you.
Awesome, great job. First of all, I really love the visual flow of not just of the presentation, but also how the presentation and the app, the design was like very linked to each other. So awesome job there. The consistency is like pretty amazing. Great job on your presentation and the product. I love that you had real testimonials from customers. So that's like super helpful and nice to see that people find this like absolutely valuable. Does anyone else have any questions from them? My question is like, are y'all going to keep working on this product moving forward, or what is the appetite for that? Since like looks very good, looks very polished. So what are the next steps?
I guess I'll take this. So yeah, we've been talking about that, and we definitely want to, we haven't published this app. It's an iOS app, so we haven't published it yet in the App Store, but that's our aim. And yeah, we are going to continue working on it. There's still a few more things that we have to do to get that ready. But if you're interested in just like getting news on when it does come out, I'll be sharing a link for you to just put in your email so we can actually notify you when it's time.
Yeah, definitely. Please share that. And also please share information on even just how to just be a tester, even though we just have to like test it with you, or if you can just like side download it on our phones. So yeah, awesome job. And then if there's any other questions for this team, feel free to put it in the chat as always. And now we've sort of come to the end of the presentation. Thank you, Team Cope. Really did enjoy the presentation. And thank you to every single person who has also presented today. We have come to the end of our presentations. And as you can see, there was like so many variety of products that people presented today, and it's very inspiring to see how much effort, passion, care, and learnings that people experience over the past 8 weeks, and it's truly remarkable and is very inspirational. So I wanted to pass it on to Beth for a couple closing remarks, and then happy to like stick around if y'all want to network with other people, ask questions. We can open breakout rooms, and for you all to just like mingle, learn from each other, just give each other like virtual high fives. But yeah, over to you, Beth, and then we'll take it from there.
Great, thank you so much. Shifumi said a lot of it already, but I just want to thank you all for putting in so much hard work. I know there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of teams faced challenges. Another shout out to the teams who reached out to the community and the people from the community who jumped on those teams to, you know, keep everything going. And like you said, like you've all sort of said in your learnings, like there's a lot to understand and move through to be agile and keep making it happen, and focusing on that product that you are also passionate about creating. So I just want to say congratulations, and I'm so proud of all of you guys. It was really awesome to see the ideas from their beginning when I started with CoLab to where they've come now. It was super, super exciting to see all of that. Yeah, keep doing amazing things. I know all of you have a lot in store for the ones that are continuing to work on their products, people who are starting new jobs or advancing in jobs, and we know you'll do amazing things. So keep sharing, keep building in public, keep that growth mindset. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us in CoLab, and you all belong in tech.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth. So in terms of next steps, what we're going to do, so we're going to hang around a little bit. I'm going to open up breakout rooms. So in just a second, I'm also going to like stop recording now so everyone can feel free to say whatever they want to say. So in a second, I'm going to open up breakout rooms. Feel free to just like jump in a room and then just like meet people, chat, talk, and we'll sort of like go from there. But otherwise, thank you all so much for joining us. If you can't stay from the breakout rooms, that is fine. There's no obligation. We're just gonna hang around for the next 15 minutes, and then we'll then close the rooms at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day. If you're new to the COLAB program and COLAB community, thank you for joining us. For all of those who are cohort members or in the sprint or in a current cohort, thank you for joining us. And thank you all for those who presented today. So I'm going to be opening up the breakout rooms and stopping the recording.